So Bert Kreischer is cooking. He literally, if you've never seen this before, and I hadn't until today, he literally cooks while he's standing on a kitchen island cooking while his guests are sitting there just like waiting for the food and then eating the food. It's a very interesting concept. It does disarm you a little bit, but Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch were both on this Bert Kreischer cooking show, which I don't know if you call it that. And yeah, Bert was good. I thought that this was different because Bert's not for everyone, but I find him interesting when it's just him and he's talking to people on his own, not with a group of people like anyone else. But I thought this was. I'm halfway through. I will be honest. I'm halfway through. I thought there were a lot of things that Seth and Becky had to talk about that were quite interesting. I mean, they do talk a little about their early experiences in WWE. Seth talking about, developmental in Tampa gave him confidence, and he learned a lot about, coming in as the guy, as the indie guy with a bunch of bodybuilders. So he knew more than they did. I thought there's some really interesting stuff there about how he kind of developed himself in a way in WWE's developmental system. Meanwhile, like Becky is like, when I was a kid, I was watching wrestling and playing wrestling with my older brother, and I knocked his ass out. And there was like 4 years between them, but apparently her brother like never said anything about this happening. So it's like, good on you, big brother. Becky being really cute, trying to tell Seth that he was a good promo when he was younger. It's always nice to have a partner who bigs you up even when she needs to lie to get there. There was talk about Unreal and how Bert loved it.
Every wrestler hates that show.
And Seth, meanwhile, was like, I hate it. And like, we talk about, keeping kayfabe and all this stuff. He basically says, like, you're stripping away pieces of the magic. And so why I'm bringing this up specifically is because one of the early comments that came out was about Seth's his comeback and how he's doing from his injury. And he makes a reference. He says, like, I'm taking the sling off in a month, and then I'm going to take a month off, and then I'm going to hit the gym, which he said, like, after Super Bowl, I'm going to give a shit about my recovery. And that put some people in, oh, is he coming back for WrestleMania time mode? Like, they got a little bit shock and panic. I personally think Seth is already in that mode. He has been rehabbing. I think he's already been working, and I don't think he's, quote, taking time off and relaxing, because everything he said about hating Unreal and wanting to strip the magic away but not wanting to keep it. This is the same guy who tried to lie to you going out of Saturday night's main event going into SummerSlam. I think this is him trying to be like, I'm just going to take it easy because I need to take a moment. I think the moment has been taken, and he is on his way to recovery. I'm not saying he's coming back tomorrow, but I think that he is absolutely working and not just kind of sitting back and waiting to feel better.
So Seth Rollins returns at the end of War Games, is what we were saying.
That's right. Yes,
the heels are going to win, and they're going to be celebrating in the ring, and they're going to do the wide shot of the arena, and then all of a sudden you're going to hear, "Burn it down!" I don't know his theme, but that's what you're gonna hear. It's gonna be the crowd will go mild all over again.
Yeah, the crowd will go mild.
Where are they at? They're in San Diego.
Especially PO'd. Well, they live in LA now. So I guess maybe people will be like, "Oh, that's my neighbor." Yeah. So there's that.
Might get a pop. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
He's
people
actually
like to burn it down.
So spoiler alert, he actually is he comes back this Friday, and he is the replacement for the John Cena tournament.
That's the Miz.
That's the Miz. I'm sorry.
That's the Miz.
Sorry. I tried. I wanted to keep the magic alive, but no, it is in fact the Miz.
It is very funny how everyone hates that Unreal show. They're like, yeah, it's pretty dumb. Like, our whole business is, let's not expose the business. And then here's this six episode reality series that completely exposes the business and shows you how everything works, all because Triple H wants to show you how everything works so he can look like a genius mastermind behind this, because that is the point of the whole show. This isn't you get to know the wrestlers better, you get to know the ins and outs of wrestling better. No, the point of this show is please praise Triple H. That's what we want. Praise Triple H for everything that he does and everything that he has created. That's what the point of Unreal.
Exactly. They do talk about the he mentions the R-Truth story, and he talks about it as if basically how fans can change things, because they get into algorithm talk. And I mentioned this when Cam was here. And algorithm talk is worthwhile, but also it shows how much like they try to kind of separate themselves from online, both Becky and Seth. And Seth's like, I haven't been on Twitter since 2019. Meanwhile, he's like, I love football. But anyway, the point is, you've got.
He does that on Threads now. He's not on Twitter at all.
Sure, good for him.
Yeah.
Regardless, he got off Twitter because of all the whatever. So I guess the Osprey stuff or whatever. Something got him off of Twitter forever. So he does mention how he hates the algorithm and how hatred feeds the algorithm, and that's what you get. And like they're making very good points, and it's very true that like social media can be the absolute worst place, or like how you need to do hot takes to get any attention on these things. Meanwhile, and I think it's true. Like our show, it sucks that we have to do this stupid like give a hot take just to get a view on a video and then people will listen or not, and it's stupid. I like the way that we format our show. We try to be very impartial, we try to be very honest about things, but like once in a while we get stupid. Very often we get stupid. Their idea though was like you get too much social media backlash because people are watching the show live and they can immediately interact. So they're like, yeah, we basically just cut most of that shit out. And so they mentioned the R-Truth situation as like times when things change based on the algorithm or people, saying it. And he says like, oh, at one point, the word of his contract being expired, that was leaked. And I'm like, leaked? R-Truth was the one who said he was done. Nobody leaked it. Truth was the one who was like, I'm done. Bye-bye. Thanks, WWE. And everyone was upset about that. I just found it funny that he was just like, nice try, Seth. You tried, but it didn't work. Also, on algorithm talk, they make a good point that like all the hate stuff is what gets sent to the top. And as a result, like you don't know what's real and what's not because the hate stuff gets fueled more. And then the stuff that people are saying that's nice, like I like the show, or I like when he does this, or I like when he looks like this. And that doesn't make any sort of dent in anyone's socials. And all of a sudden it's like, well, now my mental health is in the shitter. Maybe it already was, but now it's additionally in the shitter because I've been told that I'm an ugly, worthless, not good at my job human being by a bunch of people on the internet. And so if a bunch of people say it, it's got to be true. I think it's a good point and a good conversation from that particular interview.
Everyone wants to comment on the bad stuff. And the hating stuff is the thing. Like no one wants to. If something says something nice, it's so dumb. It's so stupid. I didn't tweet this yesterday. I was going to, but I was like, think better of it. And I read an article on Eric Bischoff where he was like, I lost respect for Tony Khan because of what he said about Ted Turner. I didn't think much about this article. People who watch this show who know me know that I do not care about these wrestler hot takes. I don't. It does nothing for me. I don't care that Mark Henry says Javon Evans needs to wait 15 years to win the title. Sure, whatever, dude. I don't care that what Eric Bischoff has to say about AEW. I want stories from these wrestlers. That's fun for me. But I ran this article for a number of reasons. Number one, he explains why he effectively doesn't like Tony Khan or lost respect for him, which in part explains why he is biased towards AEW or against AEW and Tony Khan, right? Like to me, that's a little bit newsworthy of like, hey, here he is laying it out in plain English. Yeah, this is why I probably don't care for AEW, among other things, but he's telling you why he doesn't like AEW. I was like, all right, that's newsworthy enough for me. Two, we got sent these quotes by the publication. We try to be nice to the publication of like, hey, if you're going to send us quotes and do the work for us and like try to, can you boost this type of thing? Yeah, we'll help you out. As long as it's not egregious and it's within reason. And certainly Eric Bischoff saying this is not egregious. It's within reason. It's his opinion. It's his truth on these things. And three, the saddest part about all of this is this stuff gets more engagement than any of the nice things that I write. It did way more engagement than any of the AJ Lee headlines that I wrote of things. Now the actual like engagement tweets did well when it came to AJ Lee, because as Cam talked about previously, the tweets where they're basically an article do better than anything with a link, because links get suppressed. But this, for a linked headline, did really well. And that's very unfortunate, because that's what people comment on. And when I fully admit, this is very dumb. MJF and Alicia Toot get a new dog. They now have one dog and one cat. People are like, why is this news? Oh, this is new, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm just doing a bit. I'm just popping myself out here. I ain't popping a few people online. But everyone just wants to comment negatively on this stuff. And so that is what people see, is they just see the negative comments, where if you didn't interact with it at all, it wouldn't be boosted at all. That Bischoff thing, if there was no negative comments on that Bischoff thing, it'd probably have about one comment. But everybody wants to react negatively to something, and that boosts everything. It's like you don't have to comment, but everyone wants to just critique or, again, give their opinion, when if you really didn't care, you would just move on and it would not be a bother. Do you know how much dumb shit I see online every single day where I'm like, I can comment on that. I would give my thought. No, it's just, I don't want to promote their terrible work. I don't want to promote their terrible opinions. I don't want to get into anything, because I don't think nothing gets solved in this manner. So it's just not worth it. So why don't I move on and do something else with my life?
There's plenty more over on Fightful Overbooked. Click that subscribe button, tap that bell, get your notifications. And while you're at it, like the videos, interact with them, say some stuff. We want to hear from you. While you're at it, join us every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, live for In the Weeds. You might like it.